Mas. Name me 3 countries that speak English.
Indonesia, Malaysia, Bekasi.
The spread of the English language is getting more complicated as time goes on because the number of speakers is increasing rapidly. However, before we jump into the topic, we have to know that there are 3 different groups of English users, such as ENL, EFL, and ESL. What are those?
Okay, so ENL is a group of people that consider English as their native language, and then there is ESL. ESL is the group of people that consider English as their second language. So EFL is the group of people that consider English as their foreign language. But there's one thing that seems to be ignored in the group of how English is spoken. It is ELF. So ELF is the group of people that use English as their intercultural communication, and the ELF is the largest group in the world.
There are several models and description of the spread of English. The first and the oldest model is the Streven's World Map. The Streven's World Map is a map that shows the development of English varieties since American English became a separate variety from British English. Streven also observed how colonization affected the divergence of English language. This map shows that every variety of English aligned with 1 or 2 main branches of English, whether it's American or British English. Additionally, this map shows that the form of English is similar with other varieties of English. Yet some people argue that this map promotes a stereotype that American and British English are somehow the main center of world Englishes.
The next model will be the McArthur Circle of World Englishes. This model consists of 8 different categories. This model represents the varieties of English, the relationships between those varieties of English in a circular form. There is actually 3 main parts in this circular form that I mentioned about. The first part is the center, and then the second one is the second wheel, and the last part is the last wheel. As for in the center, there is notion of world standard English, which is similar to Gerlach International English. And then in the second wheel, there is a band of regional varieties, including both standard and standardizing forms. As for the last wheel, there is 8 categories of region in which the varieties of English is located. Some people argue that there are benefits of this model. The first benefit will be the presence of regional varieties, which consists of both standard and non-standard forms of Englishes. Even though there is some people that may argue that there is disadvantage of this model, they have an opinion that this model only illustrates the word English based only on their geographical location.
The third model is Kachru's 3-circle model. This model categorizes world Englishes into 3 concentric circles: the inner circle, the outer circle, and the expanding circle. The model is based on the historical spread of English and its use in different cultural contexts. The inner circle includes countries where English is the native language, or ENL, such as the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, Australia, and others. The outer circle includes countries where English is used as a second language, or ESL, such as India, Singapore, Nigeria, and others, whereas the expanding circle involves countries where English is taught as a foreign language, or EFL, such as China, Japan, Brazil, Indonesia, and others.
The fourth model is Modiano Centripetal circles. So this model categorizes English speakers in 3 categories based on their proficiency. So the first one for those who are already proficient in international English, and the second one is for those who are not yet proficient in English, and the last one is for those who are still learning in English. So this model emphasizes features common to all varieties of English and addresses language proficiency distinction. However, it faces challenges to define between strong and non-strong regional accent.
The next model is the Graddol's notion of proficiency. The Graddol's notion of proficiency stated that in a globalized world, there is a need in distinguishing between proficiencies in English rather than focusing on merely the speaker's bilingual status. This is aligned with the idea of functional nativeness, which emphasizes the degree of proficiency of expertise in English across a diverse range of speakers throughout the world, regardless of whether a person is native or non-native.
The sixth model is Canagrajah Pragmatic Centric. So this model gives the different ways of thinking to understand English by focusing on how people use it in the real communication situations. The model suggests replacing the central part with a focus on pragmatics, emphasizing the reasons and ways people communicate in English. However, some may find it controversial by leaving the central part empty because it potentially makes it difficult to see the diversity English is used.
Next, we have Pennycook's 3D Transtextual model. This model of English basically consists of three so-called planes to define different levels or dimensions of analysis. The higher horizontal plane examines how different languages mix and the resources available for communication between languages, while the vertical plane focuses on the various registers and styles of language used in different situations. As for the lower horizontal plane, investigates what is taken from language use, considering the cultural, social, and ideological dimensions of communication.
As for our last model, it would be the Mahboob's Language Variation Framework. Mahboob's Language Variation Framework consists of three continuum. One is relating to users of English based on their social geographic distance. Another relating to the purposes for which English is used. And the third one referring to the way of communication, whether it is spoken, written, or the combination of it. These continuums are not separated, and together they provide 8 different possible kinds of language variation. The framework helps us see how people use English in different situations and for different reasons, considering where they are, the reason why they use it, and how they communicate. As for the negative thing about this framework, is that the consideration of multiple factors may introduce complexity, and some individuals might find it challenging to navigate the differences in the framework.
Based on the models that have been explained, we know that English has been used or applied in many different countries. And now you can answer which countries are speaking English.